Hi guys, welcome back to Nyx Reads. Now you know why I filmed a book unhaul before this video because I went to my first ever library sale this weekend. I didn't exactly vlog my experience there because I don't consider myself a vlogger, but I hope that the clips before this gave you an impression of how it was. It was honestly so much fun, and I've been anticipating that library sale for I think 3 weeks. So I went there with my sister, my boyfriend, and a friend. So I'm gonna give you the tally of how much we spent on everything in the end of the video. So stay tuned if you are interested in seeing how much I paid for all of this. So the way it worked is you actually pay your books by weight. It was $3 Canadian per kilo, so you can imagine how many books you get for a little money. And then for CDs and DVDs like that, I think it was $1 a piece. The library is bilingual, and I have to say that the French selection of books was, I think, 6 times bigger than the English selection, which was fine because otherwise I would have had picked up even more books. Okay, so this is gonna be a bit of a mixed media haul. So I'm gonna start with the one DVD that my boyfriend actually picked up, and he showed me and he was like, do you want me to get this? And I was like, yes, 100%. It's this, oops, what is this? A hair. Oh, that's not cute. It's a Goosebumps DVD. The Blob That Ate Everyone. I think there's 3 different stories on here, and I love Goosebumps. I grew up with this, and to this day I still enjoy the movies or like any series created by R.L. Stine. And then for his parents, he picked up this CD collection with 3 CDs in it. It's by Willie Nelson. So you have the CDs, and then you have, I guess, a bit of information about the singer in here and like the song lineup. Then we have a Christmas CD. It's from the choir of L'Armée Rouge. Mariah Carey, Daydream, basically for me, I guess. So we already played this in a car. Great car ride experience. And Tears for Fears. Moving on to the books, my sister picked up one book for herself. She's not a big reader, but I hope she still had fun going through this stuff and coming along with us. So it's The Power of Kindness by Piero Ferrucci. And then I was walking past the French novel section, and this book was right in the front. It caught my eye. I immediately recognized the cover. I've been recommending this book to my boyfriend for a while. He's not a big reader either. So the French title is Toute la lumière que nous ne pouvons voir, which is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I absolutely love this book. It's a World War II fiction with a bit of magical realism. So moving on to the books that I got for myself. I'm just moving them closer to me. Let's start with the thriller. So this book is actually the very first one that I grabbed. I just saw the name of the author, Joe Nesbo, and I immediately grabbed it because this is bound to be good. It's The Leopard. It's a thriller. I think it's a psychological thriller to be exact. And this one is about young women who are found with 24 inexplicable puncture wounds drowned in their own blood. So those are the cases that Inspector Harry Hole has to investigate. Coincidentally, I think the first book with that inspector is The Snowman, which I haven't read, but I did watch the movie. I am sure that I'm gonna fly through this one. The next thriller is actually a book that my sister grabbed for me, and she was like, I think this is the kind of stuff that you read. She's right. It's The Next to Die by Sophie Hannah. I haven't heard of this book before, but it sounds good. Is this the Sophie Hannah that writes Agatha Christie novels now? I'm not sure, but the one that I read from her I actually did kind of like, so I think that's a good sign. So this is about targeting best friends. So somebody sends notes with just 2 lines each to a pair of best friends, and then they get killed off one after the other. So yeah, that's kind of like the first part of the blurb. I'm not going to read anything further. Sounds very intriguing and messed up. Then in the general fiction category, I picked up 15 Dogs by Andre Alexis. So what got me here is first off the cover, and then also it says that it won a few prizes. Then I read the back of the book and I was intrigued. So funnily enough, when I saw the colors of this, it kind of reminded me of Circe by Madeline Miller, and lo and behold, so this book starts out as a wager between Hermes and Apollo. So one of them bets the other one that if dogs had human intelligence, that they would end up even more unhappy than humans are already. So they end up granting a group of dogs in a Toronto veterinary clinic human consciousness, and then we follow whatever happens with the dogs afterwards. This sounds pretty amazing. Then we have this beautiful hardcover. Oh, I just realized that the back is the same thing, but just the other way around. Huh. Interesting. So it's Beatrice and Virgil by Jan Martel. It says right here that it's by the same author who wrote Life of Pi. Now, I have not read Life of Pi yet, but I have watched the movie and I know that the book is amazing. So I just thought, you know what, if he wrote Life of Pi, this is probably a good book as well. Henry, he's a writer. He receives an envelope from a reader and he visits the man, and he is actually a skilled taxidermist. For some reason, he gets involved into the story of Beatrice and Virgil, a donkey and a howler monkey, so I think that's them. The epic, profoundly moving journey that brought them to the taxidermy. Along the way, Jan Martel poses enduring questions about art and life, truth and deception, responsibility and complicity. So that does sound kind of like Life of Pi. I mean, the types of questions that it provokes are a bit different, I think, but it seems to be along those lines, which I think sounds really great and very, very thought-provoking. Then I picked up Since We Fell by Dennis Lehane. Also, I've never heard about this book before, and what intrigued me here is that it says it's by the best-selling author of Mystic River and Shutter Island. I did not read any of those books, but I've watched the Shutter Island movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, and I thought that was such a good movie. If he wrote Shutter Island, then I think this is about to be good as well. This is about Rachel Childs. She's a famous journalist and she had a very public mental breakdown. And after that, she's sucked into a conspiracy thick with deception, violence, and possibly madness. This is a heartbreaking, suspenseful, and romantic and sophisticated novel of profound psychological insight and tension. So this sounds very, very vague, which is good, which means that this is you're probably gonna be sucked into a spiral of so many feelings and plot twists. So I love a good vague plot. It's very promising to me, so I'm very excited to pick this one up. Then I have 2 dystopian / speculative fiction novels. So the first one is The Swan Book by Alexis Wright. This one got me because it says one of the most important Australian novels yet up here. Judging by the plot summary, this is going to be a very, very tough and heavy read. So this takes place in a dystopian Australia. We follow a woman called Oblivia, and it says, from her brutal gang rape by petrol-sniffing youths to living in a swamp filled with rusting boats and thousands of black swans, to her marriage to Warren Finch, the first Aboriginal president of Australia, and her elevation to the position of First Lady confined to a tower in a flooded and lawless southern city, Oblivia's story is an extraordinary one. This does sound like an extraordinary plot. I think this kind of reminds me a bit of the Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler, which I read in the beginning of last month. So I think this is going to be heavy to digest. It's also giving me a bit of the Handmaid's Tale vibes. So we'll see. It definitely sounds intriguing. The next one is Always Coming Home by Ursula K. Le Guin. One of my oldest friends actually personally recommended The Left Hand of Darkness to me by her, so that one is on my TBR. That's why I recognize this name. But because I wanted to get to this author anyways, I picked this up. I read the blurb. It sounds pretty interesting. So this book took more than 5 years to write, apparently. It's a rich and complex interweaving of story, fable, poem, artwork, and music that totally immerses the reader in the fictional culture of the Kesh that inhabit a place called the Valley of the Northern Pacific in the far future. So, and if you'll open up the book, you can actually tell that it's not just, you know, it's not just prose. So this seems to be a poem, for example. So this looks super interesting and very, very unique. I think this author is very, very well known for writing dystopian fiction and speculative fiction, taking apart things like gender, social norms. So I think this is going to be honestly a very, very good book. I predict this to be 4 or 5 stars. Then I found 3 nonfiction books for myself. When I saw this one, I was kind of like, wow, what are the odds? It's Julie and Julia by Julie Powell, sorry. You will see in my next monthly wrap-up video that I read My Life in France by Julia Child. Spoiler alert, I give it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. So I kind of went to this rabbit hole of reading more stuff about Julia Child, watching her videos. Because I watched this movie as well, I knew that this book existed. But the thing is, it doesn't have the best reviews. If you look it up on Goodreads, it has very, very negative reviews. So back then I decided, or a few weeks ago I decided I'm probably not going to pick it up. But then I saw it at the library sales. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna give it a go. If I hate it, I hate it. You know, there's nothing to lose. It's not like I'm, you know, spending 20 bucks on this. So I'm just gonna try it. So this is about the blogger, Julie Powell. She attempts to cook all of, I think it's almost 600 recipes in the Mastering the Art of French Cooking by Julia Child. How did I begin that sentence? To cook all of those recipes in 1 year, and she blogs about her experience. The next one also felt like a sign because for some reason My Life in France kind of made me think of reading Eat, Pray, Love all those years ago when it was famous, like what, 10, 15 years ago? I can't remember. It's been a long time. And I never read any of the other books that Elizabeth Gilbert, the author, brought out, and then I saw this one. It's Committed by the same author. So it's kind of like the second book after Eat, Pray, Love, where she talks about her marriage to Felipe, the Brazilian man who she meets on Bali. Then I felt super lucky to have found this one. So it's The Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. This is kind of a popular book at the moment, so I was very surprised to see it there. This is about the 1893 Chicago World Fair, apparently legendary. Again, I seem to be living under a rock, at least when it comes to US history, because I've never heard about this before. So it talks about the architecture and setting up that World Fair, and it's intertwined with the story of murderer H.H. Holmes, which also I've never heard of, but apparently he's kind of a notorious killer, also super famous. I was kind of hesitating to pick this up. It was on my radar, but then coincidentally, the day before the book sale, I actually did watch a review from one of my trusted booktubers, and she said that she didn't like this that much. But then I saw this and I checked, there's actually an audiobook on Libby because there's no way I'm gonna read this physical copy, to be honest. Non-fiction books, when I read them myself as a physical copy, it puts me to sleep. So I usually listen to non-fiction books. But if non-fiction books are good and I listen to them, I usually will want them as a physical copy for my shelf to display. So yeah, I have it ready. And the last book I found by chance when we were walking past the middle grade section. It was right there in the front. And again, I was like, wow, how lucky am I that nobody has picked this up yet? So I just grabbed it. It's Ghosts by Raina Telgemeier. I can't remember who I saw talking about this on BookTube. It must have been more than one person anyways. So this is apparently an absolutely amazing middle grade graphic novel. These books make me sneeze. Okay, this book is about Katrina and her little sister Maya, who has cystic fibrosis, and her family. So for her sister, they moved to Northern California, to a town where there's just a better sea breeze for her sister to breathe in. So they moved to Bahia de Luna, and their neighbor tells them that there's actually ghosts in their town. I guess this is gonna be a family story interwoven with ghost elements. It sounds really, really good to me, and I bet it's gonna be a fast read because it is a graphic novel. Great selection, and I am genuinely so excited about each of these books that I picked up. How how much did we pay? So for 13 books, which a lot of them are hardcover, I would count this as 6 CDs and a DVD, we paid less than $24. So I think it was $23.60 Canadian for all of, oh my God, for all of this. And the CDs and DVDs. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sum up the regular retail prices of all these books and the DVDs and CDs, and I'm gonna put the amount somewhere here. And this is what I saved in the end. So let me know if you've ever been to a library sale. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe to this channel to see more bookish content and to see me actually review these books that I picked up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.